think running a day spa is all massages and relaxation? There is nothing relaxing about owning a day spa, but we're here to help. Serious spa owners know that being in the spa business isn't for the weak. It takes hard work, planning, and just a bit of luck. We should know because we've owned a successful day spa for over 20 years. Now we're opening up our playbooks and giving you the business insights to run your day spa rather than letting it run you. This is a Spapreneur podcast with Lynn Graves and Ramona Rice. Spapreneur!
Hi guys, it's raining, not snowing
It's
in
not snowing, thank the
friggin'
Lord.
Virginia. Jesus Christ, we've had so much snow.
So yesterday when I dropped off the kids for the first time, like for a full week of school, so it was their guidance counselor who's great. I love her. She she was like, her head was like in the door, and I go, praise Jesus, they are going to be in school for a whole week, and she just started laughing. I'm like, no, all of them, because now that I'm getting married to a teacher and with the kids, I'm like, no, all you effers need to go to school.
My sweetest therapist, who never, I swear to you, I've never seen her upset about anything. Even when her husband got fired from a job at Thanksgiving, we didn't even know it. He was wrongfully fired and got rehired. However, the other day she walked through there, she goes, these friggin' kids need to go back to school and get some learning.
Yeah. So that's when you know, when Jody is finally at the point of saying things, that's when you know. But hello, Spapreneurs.
Hi, guys.
New
So we're in a
episode
happy
today.
place today.
We are a happy place today because, again, Valentine's Day is a couple weeks away. We've got a plan. We're
We
excited.
do. And I feel like I've resolved some things in my life, business and personal. And so I'm a happy girl today.
That the Lexa Pro is working, y'all. Yay!
Yay!
All right, Ceci, what's our question of the week?
The question of our week, I can't go into the whole thing, but is Kimberly Gagnon is writing about basically being burned out. She has worked her ass off in this spa.
And this is a really common thing
Yeah,
for
and she's
any business
built
owner.
it up. And she feels like now she's basically working for free and that she deserves more is what it basically sounds like. And there's so much written into here. But I got to tell you, I got to give shout out to Erica Olson. She is my kindred spirit. She's just much younger than me, but she's my kindred spirit. She was, she had the case of the fuckets. And that's what she called it. And she wanted to know, if that's what was going on out there. Do you just have a case of the fuckets?
I
And
like
sometimes,
that. We should use that now.
we should. And sometimes you do have that. But everything Erica said to you, Kimberly, was so true. So basically, Kimberly helped someone build a business.
Yeah,
and
that business
screwed her over.
She got screwed over. So then she
But
took
but
action.
she knew she had done wrong because she had not gotten in writing to begin with.
Right,
So,
she learned
lesson
that
number
life
one.
lesson, and then she took over that business, got a loan.
And no,
bought
after
her out.
she bought it out.
And then now it's been running and it's working, but she's overwhelmed. She's not getting paid what she deserves. And
Probably
then
perimenopausal.
probably perimenopausal.
Which is something people don't talk about out there.
Look.
So you guys, y'all need to, boys, you need to hear this too, that perimenopause starts about the age of 36 to 40. It's the precursor to menopause. It's when our bodies start slowly changing. And you think you're losing your mind because you're like, I'm too young to be having a hot flash. I'm too young to have my periods go just whack-a-doodle. I'm too young for all this, but it's your body's way of getting ready for what's coming up next. If you understand this, and mommy's going to tell you guys about this, that's when I started on Lexapro. And I pretty much sailed through most of it. I gained some weight. I learned to love my body anyway. But by the time menopause hit, I sailed through menopause because I was already prepared and knew how to get through it. So what I'm going to tell you, Kimberly, one, you do need to go to a doctor, get a blood test done. Let's see what's going on with your body and fight to get some kind of medication, whether it's holistic or not. And sometimes holistic is great. Sometimes it's not your best course. Like Lexapro for me. You do not ever want to see me off of Lexapro. It's not a pretty picture. Then the second thing is, financially, this is part of what is overwhelming you is the money.
Yeah, money, again.
Money's a beast.
It's why it's rule number one. Don't fuck with the money.
You don't fuck with the money. You don't fuck with it. They don't fuck with it. You learn to work it in your business.
And here's what I'm noticing is that You need to implement, I've said it over again, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Profit first, profit first, profit first. This system is amazing because what it does is it turns the
That's a book, guys.
It's a book and it's a whole system. It is, written by Mike McAlevitz. Our Profit First professional is Amber Duggar. You guys have met her. She's amazing.
She's a game changer.
She really is. And here's the deal, guys. It turns the paradigm of normally what happens is you take expenses minus revenue equals profit. That's usually what they do, or revenue minus expenses equals profit. And what we do instead is the first thing I take out when I get any transaction in is owner profit. I take owner pay. I take out my taxes, and anything that's left, that's what I invest back in my business. And if you do it that way, it reminds you that the business serves you. You don't serve the business. And I think that's what's going on here. You're overwhelmed because I also saw in the question that she's considering selling the business again to somebody else. And this whole idea of, well, I'll still have control of the business, but they have final say. You won't have control of the business.
You won't like it because they're not going to run it the way that you envisioned it. It's your baby. If you're going to sell it, walk away.
Walk away. Seriously, because you just can't do that. Especially after you fought this hard to bring it back.
You need to, Kimberly, you need to take a step back. You need to take some time off. You also need to get out of the massage or the therapy room. You cannot do both. You cannot service your clients and service your business. It can't happen. I know. I have been there. I told this story way back when I had to tell everybody I'm taking a 3-month hiatus from being in the room. I need the rest. And they whined and they cried and they bitched and they moaned. But when I came back, I selected a few of them to bring back in because I love massaging. I love it. But I can't do both. I just can't.
Yeah. And you're at the stage of your career where you may be needing to do that. You may need to step out there. And there are some that, again, if you're a solo practitioner, obviously you have to be in the business to work in your business.
Sure.
That is a different animal.
But this is different.
Because you have a staff, you have everything else. When you're running a staff, you basically are two monsters. You know, if you're you can only manage your clients or your staff. You can't do both. So you have to make the decision. Do you want to be just a full-time massage therapist or esthetician? That's fine. But then sell this business and find another place to work.
Yeah. And if you watch any of the shows that are in the service industry, or you research a company like Bumble and Bumble, who are a premier franchise for hair salons, the very first thing they're going to tell you is get out from behind the chair.
Yeah.
You owe it to yourself, your family. And let's put this in perspective. God first. Whatever God you serve, God first. Family and yourself next. Now, you can prioritize that back and forth when you have young ones. Sometimes you got to put the young ones first, but you got to take care of yourself. You need to go take care of yourself. So, and Erica, just take drugs when you have the fuck it.
So hopefully that answers your questions, guys. If you have any other specific question like this, again, put it in our Facebook group. That's where we get all of our weekly questions now.
Yeah. And you're really helping to guide other people that are coming up the chain. The simple thing on Kimberly of you should have had everything in writing to begin with. I get you.
That's a mistake we've made.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh my God. But I'm mean enough that I'll beat up on them until they pay
up. Yeah.
Pay up.
But we've learned the hard way, and now we always have paperwork because it's just we've learned.
Yes. So experience.
So congratulations to, I think you need to give yourself an atta girl for getting your business back in the first place.
Yeah. And for recognizing that you're overwhelmed, that there are first steps to recovery. It's a 10 program step.
So congratulations to Kim for getting the help you need.
We're still here.
And
reach out to us.
But I really highly suggest it's amberduggar.com is our Profit First coach. I cannot say enough good things about her, guys. I just paid off another credit card this
it's
weekend.
really disgusting because she keeps paying hers off and I keep spending more. I hope DuPa's not listening to these podcasts.
That's okay. I'm planning a wedding and I have to redo a house and my rental house. Remember, I had to get a new washer and dryer. The whole nonsense.
No. Oh, I forgot to call her yesterday, but that's another story. I'm very disgusted with that whole scenario.
The whole thing. So anyway, just know, guys, that as much as we say we got our shit together, sometimes we get the fuck-its too.
Yeah. Yesterday, I didn't have the fuck-its. Today's Tuesday, just to let you guys know. And it was Monday, and I was just feeling overwhelmed.
I was too.
And it was just like anxiety for no real particular reason. And this is going to lead into what we're talking about today of taking care of yourself and what you do sacrifice to run a business. And one of the things, and Kimberly, I want you to hear this too, and Erica, you too, and all of you out there, that for years and years and years and years, I fought this. Last year at this time, I was sitting on this stool doing a podcast with my butt hurting so bad, I could not stand myself. I was dying.
Yeah.
Dying because
you just started with Joey.
Yes, I just started exercising. Well, yesterday, this year has been a whole turnaround for me because I went to work out yesterday and I knew once I got to working out with him, we always start out on the treadmill. We do 3 minutes at the incline set at the highest possible point.
Oh, God, that sounds awful.
And you don't hold the bars. So it's like climbing a mountain for 3 minutes, and it's hard. If you're working out, go try that. That's a lot harder to do than holding the rails. So, but yesterday I decided, sure, I'll do the 15, and I normally do it for 3 minutes, but I lowered my speed. And I was a little bit more leisurely about it. And I said, Joey, I'm going to go a little slower today. He said, I noticed that. I said, I'm feeling very anxious. I don't know why, but exercising here has become one of my happy places. But I quickly said, don't get too excited. And, so I went 5 minutes on it. And by the time I was done, I was calm. It had released those endorphins. So ladies, take time to go exercise,
well, for me,
please.
It's a completely different thing. I started therapy after my husband died, and I still go because I go every other week. And this past couple weeks, my therapist, actually, he was sick, very sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had a lot of stuff going on. Like, I got engaged, I got in a car accident, I feel like I had no money,
We'll sum it up by saying that we got a little snippy with each other.
Yeah, we did. Oh my God.
Which we haven't done
in a long time.
And all the years she's lived here, maybe 3 times we've gotten snippy, which is good. And we recognize it. We walk away. Mm-hmm. And this will be a program down the road.
It's usually actually right before you go to a lake house weekend, because it's time. That's when it's time for you to go to a lake house.
Yeah. And this one was all about just communicating to each other before it got to that point. So that's going to be another program down the road. But we recognize that.
But relationships in general are so important. And when you start a business, like last year I started Spapreneur. I let a lot of my friendships kind of go away because, one, I was focusing on my relationship with Evan, which was very important to me.
Yes.
And some of them got snippy because they were like, wait a minute, we were here for you when your husband died, now so you're abandoning us? I'm like, yeah, for a while.
Well, actually, they should have seen it the other way of, we're still here as you're rebuilding your life.
Yeah, but
people being people, we all have our insecurities.
And that was one. But the second thing is that, oftentimes with building businesses is that people don't understand because they don't. So
they can't.
They can't. People assume they know what it's like to run
I
want
to be a boss. I want to tell people what to do.
It this way. And
I want to do it this way.
Happen.
No way. And I don't know why you let that client say the things you did.
Why would you let that employee do that?
And you just fire them.
Yeah,
oh my
just
God.
fire them.
Why don't you just hire someone to fix your bathroom?
Yeah, this is somebody who, sits in a cubicle and makes like $40,000 guaranteed a year. So it's like, thank you.
They have no clue.
No clue. They've watched a couple of episodes of Undercover Boss and they think they're an expert. So, it just goes to show you. So the first thing you guys have to realize, those of you who are...
You're going to sacrifice.
You're going to sacrifice a lot. And one of those things is you may have to drop some relationships.
Not forever, temporarily.
But this whole idea of this show came about. We had a really kind of serious question in Spapreneur.
Yes.
And it was several weeks ago where she talked about her husband.
Didn't understand why she would go to the therapy room. Yeah.
She didn't have any appointments.
And I was disturbed by the question because that indicated to me that there were problems within the marriage. If I'm just reading it as it was,
and we don't
sent
know
to
her
us.
personally. We're not going to say her name.
And we're not casting judgment. It's just
it feels like an insecurity for him to ask that.
Yes. And for me, in my opinion, is one, to do what we do in running a business, it's all consuming. Your partner's got to be on board 1,000%.
Yeah.
But two, they gotta be some strong spouses. We're working with naked bodies. They've got to understand we don't see it as the average person sees it.
Or again, you may need to go on a day where you're not working to work on your business.
Or just to put your energy there, just to plant it and be there. And your friends may not understand that. Nope. Oh, well, I can't go to lunch today. I need to get this done. I can't go to lunch today.
Because I have a budget and all my money is going right now back into my business.
This was my favorite. And this is what caused my dearest friend, to be honest with you, Kathy. It caused us to separate out for many years, almost 10 years, that, well, why can't you go out drinking with us tonight? Because I can't get up the next morning. I got to wake up and be sharp and fresh. And I had to leave behind the youthful, fun, bar hopping, drinking thing, which my husband's like, sure, going out with the girls. I don't care. I'm working on the computer. Yeah. I mean, he's the perfect husband, girls. However, I couldn't do that. Show up to work hungover once. You'll never do it again.
Yeah, or I get a lot from a lot of girlfriends who are like, oh my God, you get to travel so much. That must be so nice. And they don't realize that the traveling, it's a pain in the butt because I have to, again, arrange for children. And yes.
Not even that. Talk about how hard it is to get in and out of airports, check in, check out, go to a hotel.
And then convention centers. Like, because I'm working convention table. That's exhausting.
And talking to stupid people.
Oh my God, the same questions over and over and over again.
Like, why do you have that 16-passenger van that you're driving around Orlando? Guys, if you don't get that joke, you have to go back and listen to Expectations. So this is not an easy life.
And no one talks about this. No one talks about when you go into business for yourself, even if it's a small business.
It's lonely.
It's lonely. It's so lonely.
It's so lonely at the top.
Yeah,
it really is.
Like, we have groups like the Spapreneur group or the Badass Body Workers, but realistically, you have to also find people who are outside your businesses. For example, I'm working on a membership book right now. I got quoted a price for the editor I used for the last front desk guide, which was only $200 then, which I thought was very reasonable. Now it's $1,000. I'm like, oh my God. And I believe in a debt-free business, so I'm going, how do I pay for this? And then so I was talking to Mark from Pockets Websites. He's my, compatriot over there. That's who hosts the podcast.
I think you should get a previous client discount or something.
Well, he told me, he goes, find a local English teacher, Ramona. It's only 15,000 words. And he's right. Because I'm investing the money in a nice cover and other things that he goes, that's ridiculous. He goes, this is not a magnum opus. It's a simple book about membership.
I love Mark.
But it's true. And
he's cute to boot.
Yeah, I know. He's single, ladies, and in England.
Oh,
yes.
I wish he were over here.
No.
I'd so set him up with some of my girls.
No, God help us all. No, he's really nerdy. He's really a dork.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
But it is lonely to do the work that nobody else wants to do.
And no one wants to talk to you about your work because then it seems like you're consumed with your work because that's all you want to talk about is I had this client or I did this or I'm doing this and they don't get it. Or when you're even in school, like I learned about this muscle that goes here and there and everywhere.
Well, this is the best way to equate it. For you women that have children or you women that have been around someone that's had a child for that first 2 years, you have learned how many times they pooped, what color that poop looks like, how runny or hard it was, how many times they breastfed, when they stopped breastfeeding.
All the potty training.
It's just on and on and on because they're so consumed with this baby.
Which they should be.
Yes. So that's what the business becomes. It becomes your baby. You live it. You eat it. You breathe it. You do everything. And things fall by the wayside.
And that's why when someone hurts your baby or you bring someone in and they mess up the baby, you get really mad.
There's a difficult story I've alluded to a couple of times, and I'm willing to go ahead and talk about it a little bit right now because this was a hard learning curve for me that as I was growing my business, seriously, guys, I didn't know what I was doing. I just kept bringing on more therapists, and we were just all sisters. I wasn't the boss. We were just all sisters.
Yeah, it was like a co-op.
And then one day, Rick and my husband and I realized that I needed to change the structure and how I was paying them. I was paying them a flat fee, no matter whether it was a comp, no matter, it just didn't matter. I was paying a flat fee of $25 to them. So even if I was running a special for $40, they still got paid the $25. So after a while, I thought, I can't run a business this way. We need to change it to a percentage. So I started making this change, and I gave plenty of time and notification. Well, I had two very, very strong personality individuals there. One of them, you knew she was strong personality. That's Jeanette. She is the mother of my goddaughter. And the other one is someone who I considered one of my best friends. And we became friends after she started into the business. Now, she's very sweet, very earthy, very kind, but not when you really get to know her. Underneath there is a woman of hard steel and grit and determined to get her way. She's going to do it while smiling, but she is stubborn as an ox. So along the line, suddenly this girl that is Julene, I'll say her name because she and I have talked about this. Julene, started talking amongst all the other girls, and they didn't like the change. So I had the fear of all of them walking out, but I had to make the change. And after much bickering and back and forth and very, very tense times in the office, Julene came to me and said, this is what I want to do. This is what we think that we should have. And you shouldn't be changing the commission because we worked so hard. And I said, no, that's not the way it's going to be. And words came about, and I stood up and I said, you can leave the premises now. And I fired her. And that was a very, very, very difficult thing for me to do. And for 3 days, I left the office, wouldn't come back because I was in tears. But I had to sacrifice a friendship for what was right for the business in the end and the long growth of it. And my biggest fear that I've not said to Julian, so if she ever listens to this, I don't know that she'll recognize it in herself, but the truth was she had too much control of my therapist. She had more control over them, their friendships, and their emotions than I did. I needed to be the leader. You don't need two leaders. And I needed to be it. She thinks with emotion. I think with more logic when it comes to the business.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a hard thing to do because you want to be friends with your therapist because you're around
But that's why we tell you, don't be hanging out with your peeps, folks.
And people joke about
unless you're willing to fire them.
Yeah, no, but I mean that's the thing. I'm a strong believer in there's a line, like for example with the wedding, I don't really feel comfortable inviting any of them to the wedding. And Lynn wants to invite all of them.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come to the wedding. There's no way. Yeah. There's just no way.
So
they'll be whining and crying for 2 years. Why did I get to come to the wedding?
It's like,
Stan got to go and Henry got to go, but I didn't get to go.
I wish you could see my face. So this is okay. There's a great book called The Four Tendencies. I mentioned it several times. Please take my cowgirl hat off. That's for the Western Improv.
I'm feeling very westerly right now.
Fine, y'all. All right.
It's the energy.
Okay, fine. Look, there's a book called The Four Tendencies, and there's people called obligers. That is Ceci. And there are people who are
less
rebels.
so now.
Less so, but you still are an obliger. Like
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then there are rebels like me who don't give a fuck.
The fuckets.
Because I'm like that's where I am. So I'm a firm believer of I do not hang out with any of my people at D-Shirts. I just don't.
I really don't hang out with them anymore. Some of them are very close to me, like Henry, Michelle, and I know I can call them and we can do things together. But I mean,
that's your time.
But that really has nothing to do with not hanging out with people I work out with. I don't have time.
Yeah.
When?
And also too, it's just like the other thing I like to tell people is like at the end of the day, I just want to be home with my fiance, snuggled up and watching TV.
I swear to God, as much as I can talk, I'm talked out by the time I get home. And this was my problem with Kathy, my girlfriend Kathy, who if I were going to marry a woman, I would marry Kathy.
I could see that.
Oh my God. She's my everything. You know, she's my,
for a while.
oh my God. We still are. It's
Yeah.
really ridiculous. We just picked our friendship right back up and we're in love again. But I had to drop her and Marcia. We were a threesome, a very bawdy, rowdy, naughty threesome. And I'll just cap it by saying there were many bras thrown at stages locally as we would go party. But that's another story. But I had to drop them because I didn't have time. And Tina Brown said this. I said something about this, I believe in the last podcast or the one before, that Tina Brown from editor of Vanity Fair had said that your work and your family are the only family that you can have.
Yeah.
They're the only relationships that you have time for. And that was me for a long time.
Yeah,
now I have the luxury.
Because like I've made a conscious effort, and this is something else, while I was married to my late husband, for a lot of reasons, I took more time away from the kids and him to do other things. Mm-hmm. And once you suffer something significant where you lose something like that, you realize how precious time is with those babies.
Yes.
So any free time I have is often with those babies.
Yeah. I got to tell you guys that a lot of perspective that Mona and I have that we're passing on to you has come to clarity for us since the passing of Jimmy. He was too young. He was 37 when he died. And when you see something like that, it really puts sharply into focus what are the important things in life. Yes, growing your business is. Yes, for a little period of time, you've got to put it in there. And when I say a little period of time, I'm talking about 3-4 years.
Yeah, good 3-4 years, hard work, and slow growth. Everybody wants to be like us immediately. It took us 22 years to get to where we are. 22 years, guys.
One foot in front of the other.
Doors will open when they're supposed to. And I have to be reminded of my mom all the time with Spapreneur. I want to have big launches and I want to do this and I want to, and I have to really back myself up and go, we're not ready.
No, she couldn't handle it right now. Yeah, she couldn't handle it right now because we have a house and a wedding to do. And not just that, we're not talking about the tiny humans very often, but we have to transition them from grandma's house now to their new home and make it part of theirs. So there's a lot going on, but you have to invest it all. I've got a therapist that works for me. He is my biggest pain in the ass. And if I didn't love his wife so much, I would have let him go, because it's not that he's not very, very, very good at doing massages.
He's not focused.
He is not focused. He's already opened up one massage business and
failed
it
because he didn't
ran for about 2 years,
because
and
he
then
fucked with the money.
yeah. Well, he didn't put in the time.
Yeah.
And so then that closed. And he has literally jumped from job to job to job to job to job while doing massages. I at least 10 times in the past 2 years that he's been with me. Now, this is his newest venture. He now wants to open up a bar pool hall.
What?
Restaurant kind of place.
Oh, God.
And I only know this because he posted on Facebook. So as I was getting my nails done yesterday, chit-chatting with his wife, I say, so is blah, blah going to open up a restaurant? She said, how did you know that? I said, well, he put it on Facebook that he was looking for someone. I just assumed. And I let her talk about it, and she seems excited. And she was telling me how much effort he's putting into it and researching and doing all the work and picking a place and getting permits. And I let it go on. And as we finished my nails, I stood up and I said, look, I'm excited for you guys and I hope this works. I said, but here's my fear for you guys is I have seen this too many times that he's got to put 150% of himself into this business. She said, well, he is this time. He's really doing it. I said, no, you don't understand. He's got to put that 150% in for 3 to 4 years. He will do it for a short period of time, get discouraged, and then drop it.
Yeah.
She said, you're right about that. I said, you can give him that piece of advice from me.
So that's what we're saying. Like, it's just a temporary time. So person who sent us that message about your husband, the first thing I would do is have a sit down. First, if you need to ask yourself the kind of relationship you have. There are men, and I'm going to say it, or just partners who are insecure in general.
Your ex-husband. My ex-husband.
Yes, my father.
Would not have been able to handle it.
No,
because he
insecure.
is insecure. He likes attention himself.
Right.
It took a very strong man behind me to let me gather all the attention, all the accolades and everything else, so that I could do what I needed to do. So you got to recognize that. If you don't have that kind of husband, you're going to have to find ways of bringing them into the business.
Right. But
without them messing with it.
Okay, so that's number one.
Don't let them mess with it.
Because we've had a situation locally where there was
oh my God.
There was a massage therapist who had a pretty decent business, and she had a
very good business.
We had no problem with her
until her husband
got into it with us, and they went to church with us, and we took him down.
We took him down for a very good reason because he slandered us in public to all of AMTA across the state. And he quoted from our website, and I was furious. And then he called the Board of Nursing on us, which regulates us, and we won that case. And I don't think I ever said another word to this guy. You know, that forgive and forget kind of thing, Christian.
We didn't forget.
I just moved on.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't forget.
Yeah. And guess what? Their business is no longer in business now. So number one is you have to have a strong relationship. So if you're having relationship problems, it is not...
Don't bring them into your work.
Don't bring them into your business. Okay, so you need to...
And we might be over-exaggerating this state.
We don't know what's going on in her marriage, but I'm just going to go by what was written.
It might be she's insecure.
Maybe.
And he's just simply saying, hey, hon, what you doing at the business sitting around?
Correct.
So have a good answer for him.
Yeah, so that means you need to have a roadmap. We've talked about this.
Have an answer.
So you don't just go into the office without something to do. You know, if you don't have any clients today, that's a good day to do your email follow-ups. That's a good day to pick up the phone and call some clients you haven't seen in a while.
Go on Pinterest, come up with some new ideas, get on Facebook at the community between Badass and ours, and research some things.
Listen to a couple podcasts.
Read the books that Ramona's recommending.
Yeah, so, you need to have, and put your energy in your place, because I can tell you that when you do that, the phones will start ringing. But you can't just assume you just sit there. You have to go out and put out some lines. You got to go fishing.
Yes.
You can't fish without bait. So you got to do some fishing. You got to go network. You got to go.
Oh, I like that analogy. That's good.
Yeah, but you have to. You can't go out without some bait. So number one, have a plan for when you go there, and make sure too you're not spending too much time at the office. Pick one day a week, guys. Make it your non-work day. For me, it's Sundays. I don't work on Sundays anymore. I don't do any Spapreneur stuff or podcast website
Fridays
stuff.
Are usually mine. Well, weekends I take off, but Fridays have always been mine.
Right now, with the way my schedule is, because I have to take pockets of time for kids and all, I don't have full work days like most people.
But take time for yourself.
You've got to take time for yourself and time for your relationships and your family.
Yes.
If that doesn't include extended friends right now, it doesn't include extended friends right now.
Yeah, you got, once again, God first, family next.
The business.
Yeah,
Because the business
it
feeds
does
the
come
family.
in that order.
Because here's what happens when you have a thriving business. This year, because my business is thriving, Spapreneur, thanks to you guys, I'm able to donate 10% of all Spapreneur revenue to a cause I really believe in, which is the Muse Writing Center here locally in Norfolk. They help people who don't have money learn how to write poetry and prose and things like that. And that may seem silly, but for a lot of people, having that creative outlet opens up to whole new areas. And they were really supportive of me when James died. And they gave me a place to really like write my feelings and really help. So that's why I'm giving that back. But I can't do that if I don't have a thriving business and my kids aren't fed.
That's right.
So you got to take care of the four walls. The four walls are your family.
Yeah.
And keeping a roof over their head. That's it. So it goes also back to our big question too. Are her four walls being handled with her income right now? If they're not, you've got to redo how you're doing your business money.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes. So that's where all of this stemmed from. We were just concerned about that. And I know that this reaches out to a lot of people whose spouses don't understand. Why are you spending so much time there? It's because it makes you happy, because you're growing something.
Yeah, and they're afraid you might outgrow them.
Yeah, so you got to find ways of bringing them into it in your own way and talk, communicate, open your heart up and say, these are the things I want to do. What do you think? And go from there.
All right. Speaking of the books reading, this month's book club selection is The Year of Yes. It is the most fantastic book. I read it like in a day. You saw me reading it.
Yes, I saw her reading it.
And
yes.
I was talking about it and I was like, oh my God, Shonda Rhimes. She writes Grey's Anatomy.
Those that have been reading it have been responding back going, love it.
Because it's not a boring read. I'm not picking any boring business books because that sucks. I have to read them. You don't have to. So we're only picking fun books for the book club.
Well, like I said, if you can't or don't have time to sit down and read, like I'm not one to read that type of book, but I'll listen to it. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So we will be having our book club discussion. It's totally free, guys. This is like a free thing I'm doing because really I want an excuse to talk about these books. So it is going to be February 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in the evenings. So it's a Wednesday. So you guys will be able to come. We'll do a live chat with me about the book, what we thought, and ways we can do it with our business and our lives. So it's a whole kind of thing. I'm really excited about it. I'm so geeking out right now.
I know. She is geeking out right now.
If you want more information about anything with Spapreneur, go to spapreneur.com/031. This is episode 31 of the podcast, guys. 31. We're almost.
Have we really done that many?
We technically should have been doing a lot more if we were like doing weekly, but
this is what happens. When the snow comes down, we could spend time doing this, but we get fuckets.
No, that or we're constantly undressing and dressing children. Oh my God, every 30 minutes they'd come in and it's a whole like 15 minutes. How do people and stuff? Erica Olson, how do you deal with this shit? Okay, she's talk about fuck it. She's in Colorado for all this like real snow. We have baby
You put
snow.
it on, you take it off, you dry it.
And then
you
we gotta make hot chocolate.
Yes.
And then the hot chocolate maker broke. Fuckets.
Fuckets.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Need more actionable steps to get your spa headed in the right direction? Head to spapreneur.com. We've got the tools, tricks, and methods to making your spa as successful as it can be. Spapreneur.com.